In this final episode, we're going to interact with the Management Center using a pre-configured Flask web application. The application is available for download if you want to try it out for yourselves. The application contains the same endpoints discussed in the previous episode. When you log into the application, you'll be able to import data as well as search for and delete it. Okay, let's get started with the demo. Okay, so let's finish off by taking a look at step 3. So, one of the challenges with running those scripts, if you recall, was every time I ran a script, I had to enter my credentials, gain the token, retrieve UUIDs, other identifiers, and there was quite a lot of repetition. So one of the benefits of integrating everything into an application is that we've got the possibility to reuse and maybe automate some of those tasks. So in this step 3 demo, we have this application, which is called app.py, and it's basically an application written using the Flask web application framework. Okay, and as I said, there are some videos which provide some assistance with this, which I mentioned earlier. One of the things in this is that you have to specify the address of your server. So if you plan to try this, you will need to change some of these to reflect the settings of your management center. Now, most of the scripts you saw me demonstrating, what I've done is to add these endpoints to Flask, and in Flask these are known as routes. And each route has these functions which are known as view functions. If you look very carefully, you will see that as long as certain conditions are met, then we will make use of the Python requests module to carry out certain tasks. And also it's making use of these templates, dynamic Ginger2 templates to refresh the data. Okay, so it's there for you to examine at your own leisure. Now, to start this application, that literally I can just start it. I need to go back into the parent directory because I'm currently in scripts. So now I should be able to run that application. And in Flask, it has a development server, which should not be used in a production deployment. So one word of caution here, the code being demonstrated here is purely for demonstration purposes. It is not intended for use in production. So if this is something you like the idea of, you would certainly need to test very carefully before considering using this in anywhere close to a commercial environment. Okay, so disclaimer over. So what this does is it starts a local server listening on port 8000. So if I return to my system and do a refresh, you can see that it opens up this, at least I think it's a nice application. The tasks for using this application should be carried out in a certain order. So that's what this Home tab is for. The first thing you have to do is log in. But whereas with each of the scripts you had to log in with your credentials for every script, with this web application, it's a one-off thing. So now I'm logged in. It shows the logged in user. We get this flash message. It still shows me who's logged in. And now that I'm logged in, these other functions are exposed. So here I can see and if I need to copy my access token. Access tokens are valid for 30 minutes, so it shows you the time beyond which this token is no longer useful. Tokens can be refreshed up to 3 times. So if you wanted to refresh your token, you could do this. You'll notice those codes changed, or you could simply do a renew, and that resets it so it can be refreshed up to 3 times. So as long as you're logged into the application, you can renew or refresh your token, but it gives you an indication after which the current token is no longer of use. The next one is the hosts. So you recall that I did delete the host Attila, so that doesn't exist, but the other hosts like Bleda did exist. Now if I add an underscore in front of the name, then I've got the ability to delete. So I know that Bleda, LAMP and Rugilla still exist. If I thought, well, let's try and delete Bleda again, it's not going to do that because it's already deleted. If I try and delete Rugilla, that should work, and LAMP as well. So I'm now fairly confident that all the hosts have been deleted. If I wanted to double check, does LAMP exist? No, it doesn't. So all those hosts have gone. The next function, upload, and what this does is it allows you to select the CSV file. Now, if I go to my project, which is, see if I can remember, is here. And I think it's in the scripts folder is where I place the CSV file. So if I select the CSV file and upload it, it kind of gives me a summary of what information is in that CSV file. And then this final import option allows me to, I have to type in the correct name of the file. So the upload moves the files to a certain location. And then if I select the file I've just uploaded and then submit, it should tell me that was successful. How do I know it's successful? Well, I can go back and do a search for Attila and Bleda and LAMP and finally Rugilla. So this concludes the final lesson of this course. In it, we saw how to interact with the Management Center, REST API using a Flask web application. Once authenticated the application, we saw how to use it to import data as well as search for and delete that data. In summary, we've looked at how you could perform a bulk import of data into the Secure Firewall Management Center. We talked about the demo environment, the need to have a management center with the ability to manage host objects. We talked about the built-in API documentation with test capabilities. We focused on certain endpoints. There were many more that can be explored. We identified what format the data had to be in for successful import. We looked at how to authenticate to the API and to search for, import, and delete objects. As we had to authenticate and retrieve information in the scripts, we looked at trying to automate that by incorporating them into a web application, and we saw the application working. As I said, the code is available for download, so feel free to do that. There is a requirements file which contains the requirements, all the different Python modules you would need. Thank you for watching.